Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, is supported by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code Club at 22. Your balls will thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to Club Reaction to Rangers 1 Livingston 0 at a very windy, miserable night at Ibrox. Not a classic by a long way. We all knew it was going to be a stuffy game, but Scotty Arfield comes on and saves the day. I'm your host Scott Carney and I'm with Ali Pearson.
That was, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was enjoyable, to be honest. The weather wasn't great. It was, to be honest, we pretty much said on the preview how the game would go, and I think we'd probably... Well, it was correct. I know we didn't get the scoreline correct, but it went exactly how I thought it went, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we did pretty much nail it. Look, we all know what Livingston are about. We know that they're going to come and try and frustrate us. I think it was quite easy to forget at times tonight that it was a much changed squad. We are without some massive players, and tonight was all about the 3 points, and we've managed to get there. So into the team, it was McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Bassey, Barisic, Kamara, Sands, Lowry, Wright, Sakala and Itten. I was one away, Ali.
You were, aye. I was fucking miles away. As soon as I seen Bakuna was away to Birmingham today, I was like, well, that's me, got the team wrong. But yeah, interesting. The boy Lowry, I think, was really the only option probably to play in there, to be honest. Sands was a bit of a surprise. I know Ryan said he'd probably rather have just one sitting midfielder than Kamara, which I'm the same. I don't think we need two sitting midfielders. And Sands, although he's neat and tidy, I mean, he'll come on obviously, but yeah, I thought Arfield would have started, but maybe he wasn't fit enough to start Arfield.
Yeah, possibly not. I think Sands was the biggest shock. As I say, I nearly called it. I'm going to claim it. Fuck it. I nearly called it, so Sands was the only one. But yeah, into the game itself, look, the conditions were not great tonight, and I'm not really going to use that as an excuse, but it was a wild night at Ibrox. It really was. It was horrible going there, and it was fucking horrible leaving. I'm glad I said I'm quite happy that we sat in the club deck at times, because at times like that, not a bit of water get anywhere near me, which was good. But in the game itself, as I say, Rangers started quite well. Sakala looked pretty positive from the start. Again, it became, I think everybody within Ibrox knew, and this is me probably being kind, knew what kind of game we were going to expect, so it didn't take long for the frustrations to come out in people, because, I mean, we huffed and puffed. Lowry showed some real moments of class, but again, it looked like he had Sands sitting and Kamara pushed a wee bit forward. It didn't really work. No,
it's a similar-ish midfield to what we had at Aberdeen, and again I thought we didn't grab the game at Aberdeen. We never looked in control at Aberdeen, and at times, although we dominated the ball, we never, at times the defenders I thought were coming out and there was nobody really looking for it in the midfield. At times Goldson, Bassey come out and there was nobody to hit. Obviously there's no Joe Aribo there to come and get a ball, and yeah, to be honest, I think a lot of people looked at that lineup tonight and looked at the bench, looked at the conditions, looked at the team we were playing and went, this is going to be one of these nights, and it was, to be honest, and it was stuffy, which we thought it was going to be.
It was stuffy. As I say, we did kind of huff and puff. There wasn't a great deal of action. We did our best to make it harder for ourselves with a few decisions we did at the back. Just, again, silly passes, unnecessary passes, putting pressure on ourselves. Livingston had a few chances, however McGregor did not make a save. I don't think he made a save the entire night, if my memory is correct. No. I don't think he did. But we were trying to make it difficult for ourselves. The best chance comes, first to come from, I think it was Scott Wright, out on the right hand side. They fired the ball right across the face of the goal. Somebody has to turn that one in, and then spectacular work from young Lowry. Decided to take on about 4 defenders on our left hand side, put it on a plate for Itten, who didn't read it and wasn't near enough to put it away. Ali, we had a wee conversation about Cedric Itten when I met you at half time. That one in particular, you're a striker, you have to read that, you have to score that.
He's got to score it. I think Scotia maybe gave him a bit of slack at half time, saying but he's not played many games of football for him, and you can agree with that to a point, but Yeah, he's got to score. The boy Lowry does brilliantly and fizzes up, and it's crying out for somebody just to burst the net with it, and he's got to score it. And we'll probably come on to it, and his hold-up play at times was okay. I would say that's as much as far I'd go with it, but it's hard because, as Scotia says, he's hardly played in Germany. He's played a bit on Friday night and he started tonight, but I thought he would show more at, and to be honest, I mean, maybe he was let down by players round about him,
possibly.
But again, he's a player I don't think we could rely on going forward if he was playing up front for Rangers. He's a squad player at most for us, to be honest.
I think that's quite fair, mate. I do think he is probably a squad player at best. You're right, I mean, he tried to get involved as much as he could. His hold-up play, he tried. Some things came off. Some of the moves were really good. And I've not even mentioned that probably arguably the best move of the game. We link up on the right-hand side with Tav, Kamara, I think Scott Wright as well.
Yeah.
And the ball was fired and it was Sakala that got it, but the keeper did really, really well to keep the scores level, and we go in at half-time, nothing each. And the frustrations were there. I'll say it now again, it's not an excuse on the game. The referee's consistency is fucking terrible, man, because the amount of free kicks Livingston got it was every time they were touched they went down. With Rangers it was a different story. Again, I thought he had a really, really poor game. Wee bit of backlash possibly for Rangers making the claim about Clancy, but yeah, the referee's standard again was not great. Into the second half, and if anything, Ali, we started the second half even worse. It became a rather turgid game of football for the first, I'd say, 15 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, slack passes. I said to Scotia, wait till this hits 70 minutes at 0-0 because you'll hear it, it'll turn toxic. Obviously we've not got there yet, but it was too many slack passes and final balls. I mean, our set pieces at times with corner kicks and that are atrocious at times. They really are.
Yeah.
Again,
the conditions might not have helped that,
they're
but
not great,
I do agree with you though.
The amount of times we hit a first man or the next one goes away to the back post, or you don't know what's happening by Rangers corner kick, to be honest. But yeah, it didn't start great. I thought Rangers would come out and show something, especially when he didn't make any changes, but it was pretty much the same as what continued from the first half.
Yeah, and again he had a chance where he should probably have took a shot. Sakala had broke into the box, the ball kind of fell to him. It seemed it took him an age to put his boot through it.
Doing like a drunk man.
He just couldn't seem to get his boot to it, and it ultimately led him to come off for Kamar Roof, and Sands came off for Scott Arfield. Sands again, it's still early days for me. He needs more time to settle into this team and probably find his position within the team. We came closest before we scored by an outstanding bit of play by Sakala. He just burst forward, took on his man, unleashed a lethal shot, and the keeper did really well to turn that over.
Yeah, he done pretty much everything Sakala bar scored tonight. There was one just before it as well where he swiveled in the box, and
that's right.
Probably he pits it right at the keeper.
Yeah.
Either side he scores, but I mean this one in particular, pulls a ball out to Sky, puts it over a guy's head, drives with it, and unleashes it was if that had went in the back of the net, contender for goal this season.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper does well to pull it over, but yeah, I thought he was good, Sakala. I know a lot of people get frustrated with him. I think it's the way he runs and the way he plays, but he looked dangerous all the time, and he done everything tonight, just bar score, Sakala.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He cannot ever fault his effort. You really can't. He never stops. Scott Wright then was on the reception of a bit of a backlash from the Rangers fans. Again, not good enough tonight for Scott Wright, in my personal opinion. He didn't do enough. He'd one cutback that was really good that I thought, right, okay, he's going to kick on here, and then another one that kind of broke. Sakala did really well on the left. It kind of broke out. It came off kind of the post almost and kind of fell to him. And then it was the shot or cross thing, and he pretty much booted it out for a throw-in. Yeah,
he's chose the wrong option too many times. That one in particular, the ball sometimes fizzed and it went slowly across. And nearly you think it was going in and it didn't. Felt it Scott right. He should have got his head up and pulled the ball back. There was two Rangers players standing there waiting to put it in the back of the net. He doesn't. He had like you say, a kind of short cross, and there was a spell of 10 minutes with Scott Wright where the fans were on his back because every decision he made was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And I actually turned to Scotia, Carney, and you're obviously sitting down at the moment here, but I actually said I would bring Brandon Barker on.
Because he was the only option
on the bench. to bring on, because Scott Wright,
the guys
just wasn't.
Yeah, the guys that sit next to me, obviously they watch the podcast. Hello lads. They said the same. They said bring on Brandon Barker to wind me up, and I actually turned to them and said, you know what, Scott Wright's having that much of a shocker right now that I could see Brandon Barker getting brought on the pitch. However, we weren't to be too frustrated for too much longer after an absolutely superb goal by Scott Arfield. The ball comes to him just at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he somehow manages to lift it over into the far corner of the net, just inside the post. Ibrox goes a little bit mental. The frustration all comes out at the one time, but what a finish from Scott Arfield, and when you need to rely on him, you often can.
Yeah, it was a brilliant goal. Sakala does really well down the wing.
Yeah.
Borna does well, clips a lovely ball into to Arfield, and it's a great finish by Arfield. I've seen it back, and he just chips it into the far post over the goalkeeper, and it was going to take something like that tonight for Rangers to score, and it was an outstanding goal, and you could feel the relief around Ibrox, because we sat there when it hit 70 minutes at Ibrox and you're 0-0, you're sitting there, especially at games against Livingston and the conditions, you're thinking, if we drop points tonight, especially after dropping points against Aberdeen, and you're going into next week, obviously it would be ideal, but the relief was, you could feel it around Ibrox, and after then, Rangers, we obviously come on, I thought we were fairly comfortable, to be honest.
We were fairly comfortable. Immediately after the goal, Scott Wright came off and Ryan Jack came on, and it was great to see him, I'm not going to lie. Really good to see Ryan Jack back. Came on, looked quite tidy, looked sharper than I thought he was going to. He did a few decent passes, kept it tidy as you would expect, and yeah, Rangers kind of seen the game out. Possibly could have tried to push for a second. I think we were a wee bit stuck between kind of sticking or twisting. However, 3 minutes added on time, and we managed to see the game out for a crucial 3 points. And I said to you walking back to the car, Ali, these are the games that win you leagues.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a huge result for Rangers tonight. We don't need to look what happens anywhere else, to be honest, as long as we look after ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was massive from where we were looking at after 70 minutes. I think if you'd asked every Rangers fan at 70 minutes, most of us would have said this isn't our night. I honestly didn't think it was our night tonight, if I'm being brutally honest. It just had a feeling about it. I had a feeling before I went to the game about it as well. It was just something when you looked at the team, but to get through with the team we had out, it's massive, because we've got big players coming back for Ross County. Joe Aribo, who obviously everyone knows about Joe Aribo and me, and obviously Ryan Kent. So two massive players to come back, and I would imagine Scott Arfield would start too. So it'll be a much changed Rangers team, but no, massive 3 points. Massive
3 points, and I do think Joe Aribo walks back into that team on Saturday. No danger of that at all. Your man of the match, Ali?
Wee Lowry can be proud of himself again. A difficult game against Livingston are big guys in that team. I thought he was muscled off the ball quite a lot of the time, but that's not his fault. But the man for Zambia, Fashion Sakala, to me, second half I thought he'd done everything. He tries all the time. He just didn't put the ball in the net, unfortunately. But for his effort and everything else, it's for me, it's got to be Fashion Sakala.
It's fair enough, mate. I think Sakala was great. Just due to Scott Arfield being out injured and coming on the park and getting us the goal to secure a pretty crucial 3 points, I will give it to Scott Arfield tonight. So that'll do us. On to Saturday. Ali, thank you very much.
No problem. I'm away at my bed now. I need to drive down to Birmingham at 4 in the morning for some fucking course for my work, which isn't great, to be honest. My boss did say I could have stayed down tonight and stayed in a hotel, but I did say Rangers come first, so it's my own fault, to be honest.
Yes.
So I'm delighted that Rangers have won and I can go down with a smile on my face.
Yeah, you were talking about going back. It would have been nothing each today.
You'd have been misery.
Driving to Birmingham, absolutely miserable. But yes, as always, a word from our sponsors. If you go to manscaped.com, use the code CLUB at 22, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will definitely thank you. And as always, please like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a wee 5-star and Apple review, Apple Podcast even, would really be appreciated. We will be back on Friday with a club preview ahead of the game at Ross County on Saturday, and as I said before, these are the games that win you league. It's all that matters is the 3 points. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers everyone.